one Saturday afternoon, I was listening to KICK, 1320 on your AM radio dial, and Jim Stanley said, well, you all know Elvis is in town. He's playing tonight at the Shrine Mosque, and I've got a couple of tickets here. I'm going to tell you how this works. Now, they've got a dress rehearsal this afternoon. You can't go to that, but I've got 2 tickets for the 13th caller or the 7th caller or one of those deals, and for the 13th caller, I'll give you a pair of tickets to go see Elvis tonight. Well, I didn't want to call in because I had promised myself. You see, I saw film clips of him on the old Louisiana hayride, and again, one TV station in town, KTTS Channel 10, I think, and at that time, Elvis only had a bass player and a guitar player behind him. He didn't have a drum, but he did have a beautiful Martin D28 guitar, and he was using that for a drum. He was beating on this thing to keep time. And it kind of hurt my feelings because anybody like us kids who play folk music, and that's basically what I was doing, folk music and country music, we would kill to have a Martin D18 guitar. We sure wouldn't be beating on it. Yeah. You know, and but I made a promise myself when I saw that, one of these days I'm going to meet that guy and we'll tell him you can't play guitar worth a damn. I know it's just a family show, but
yeah, no, that's okay.
Anyway,
acceptable. You can say whatever you want if it involves Elvis.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I'll try to be cool with this. Okay. Anyway, that Saturday afternoon, the day that Elvis is going to be at the Shrine Mosque at night, my parents, bless their hearts, rest their little souls too, decided to take off that afternoon and go down to Lindenlure. We had a cabin down on the Finley River down in Lindenlure. You know where that is, don't you, honey? Yeah. And they left me by myself at home. Not a smart idea. 9-year-old kid. All kinds of trouble I get in. Well, the minute they made the corner out of sight of the house, I got on my bicycle and rode all the way downtown here to the Shrine Mosque. I'm going to meet this guy. I'm going to find a way. I parked my bicycle in the back. I go up the back entrance there up to the 2nd floor where the dressing rooms are. And I walk down that hall, and I'm looking to the right, and I'm looking to the left. Well, let's see, I should have said look to the right and look to the left, shouldn't I? I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
And no Elvis. So I'm thinking, oh, this isn't going to happen. But I keep on walking down there, and at the very last dressing room on the left, I look at, there he is. He's kicked back in a chair. His feet are up on the dressing room table there and mirror. And he wasn't the greasy hood that everybody had made him out to be. His hair was nicely combed and brushed. His shoes were highly shined. He had on a nice red and white check country type shirt, Western type shirt, and a Levi or some kind of jean jacket and a pair of Levi's, and he looked perfectly good. I said to myself, okay, Wilkinson, here's your chance. Are you going to, you have the guts to do this?
As a 9-year-old?
As a 9-year-old, okay. Yeah. And he's 19, and he's up and coming rock and roll star. So I knocked on the door a little bit. There, I could see him. He looked up. I said, you're Elvis Presley. He said, I know. And I thought, well, he may not be the greasy hood that everybody thinks he is, but he's a smart ass, isn't he? I'm going to have to deal with this. So he stood up. He said, come on in. Okay. And he shook my hand. And I told him who I was, or was.
Yeah, still am.
And still am, yeah. And he said, grab a chair, sit down. Okay. And, you know, there was nobody, no guards around, no nothing. So I sat down, we talked. He asked me about where I was in school, what my parents do, you know, what's going on, why are you here? He gave me the perfect opening, folks. I said, well, the reason I come looking for you today, Elvis, is one reason and one reason only. I come to tell you you can't play guitar worth a damn. Okay? And he looked at me, and you think you can play better than me, boy? I said, I know I can. Now, the reason I said that, you have to understand, I started playing guitar when I was 5 years old, and three-finger bluegrass banjo when I was 6. So I knew a little something about the stringed instruments. Not a whole lot, but a lot more than he knew.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, so we're sitting there, and I got that last comment on him. There was an old beat-up Gibson J45 guitar leaning up against the wall in that dressing room. I said, Elvis, may I borrow your guitar there for a minute? He said, sure. You got this grin on his face like, entertain me, kid, I dare you, you know. You can't do it. So I grabbed that guitar and I stuck it on, and I pulled out a set of finger picks that I always carried with me, and I played Foggy Mountain Breakdown on the guitar, which is a banjo song, not a guitar song really, but I did it on the guitar for him, just to see what his reaction would be. And then I sang him a couple of songs, and I put my picks away, put his guitar back up against the wall. He looked at me and he said, "You're pretty good." And I said, "I know." That's getting even, you know? That was getting even for the comment that he greeted me with at first. And we talked some more, and pretty soon I heard what sounded like a herd of elephants coming down the hallway there. And what it turned out to be was his bodyguards or his aides or whatever they were, big guys. Never seen anything so big in my life. And they stuck their head in there, and "Elvis, you've got a dress rehearsal coming up here pretty quick. Here, who are you, kid? You can't be in here. Get out of here." I said, "Okay, fellas, take it easy, you know." And to Elvis's credit, bless his heart, he stood up and he said, "Wait a minute, guys. This boy's name is John Wilkinson, and he just gave me a guitar lesson. Now leave him alone." I go, "All right, Elvis." So I got up and I said, "I know you're busy. You got things to do. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me. It's been a real pleasure. I've enjoyed it. And I'll have good things to say about you to other people that ask me about you." So he shook my hand, and I started to walk to the door, and he said, "Johnny, come back here a minute." I said, "Okay." I looked at these guys and said, "Hey, he wants me to come back, right? Don't get touchy."
Yeah.
So he gave me a big hug, and he whispered, he said, "Johnny, I just know down the deepest part of my heart we're going to meet again." And we did, about 10 years later.